Hello, my name is Steventon Holland, and I have a story to share with you. When I was 8 years old, I had some friends at school came up to me and said, "Man, you're really weird." They said, "Yeah, your entire family's white, but you're not." I'm looking at my skin and I'm like, they're not lying. Like, I'm brown. Crazy how that never came up. I mean, I'm 8 years old and I'm finding out for the first time that I'm brown. So I get home and my mom looks at me and she said, "Before I say another word, I want you to know that I love you. You've always been my son. Nothing's gonna change that. Son, you know, you were adopted. We brought you into our family when you were 7 days old." That question of why. Like, I don't understand why this hurts, and I don't understand why a mother would not want her son, and I don't understand, you know, why this family is not my blood. You know, it was never a question of love, but it was, again, that word being different and weird kind of resonated. And the first time in my life I didn't feel accepted or finding a place to belong. God just really spoke to my heart in that moment and said, "It's time." And I was like, I'm wrestling with that. "God, what do you mean it's time?" And he said, "It's time to look for your mom." So I went back to that moment as an 8-year-old sitting on the edge of my bed, and my adopted mom giving me this folder with 8 pages of typewriter paperwork and that journaling. And I go to a box and I find that folder and use the power of the internet. Within 3 days, I found a website from my uncle, and there's name after name after name matching up on what I have in paperwork. So I sent him an email. He reads it at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he actually called me at 1 in the morning. There's no way I could do that. I was like, I gotta wait. So I waited till 7 after I got a little sleep. And so I call him at like 7 in the morning, and we have this, you know, it's 2 hours of tears, and is this really happening? Like, it's just shock. And so about 2 months later, I jump on a plane, fly up to Spartanburg, South Carolina to meet him. And that vision that we talk about starts to become very clear. He sits down with me and shares that your mom was 18 years old, mentally challenged, raped by 5 men. She carried you homeless almost the entire pregnancy. She literally fought for your life. She was in a state mental hospital, and because when they found out that she was pregnant, they were giving her some options that she wasn't happy with, so she decided, you know what, this is my son, I'm gonna fight for him. So she left that facility and wound up at his home for almost a week. And he had gotten in the shower to go to an event, and when he came out, she had disappeared. So he didn't actually know what had happened to her for 10 years, from 1982 to 92. So he looks at me and says, "Do you want to meet your mom?" And I'm like, the Lord just spoke to my heart. He said, this is what he was speaking to me. In that apartment in Tampa, Florida, about 2 months prior to this, he said, "It's time." He said, "It's time." And I'm like, "Lord, this is what you were speaking to me. This is what you were putting in my heart. Like, this moment is happening. It's flesh. I could just see it." And I looked at him and I said, "It's time." So the whole ride down there, obviously I'm sweating and, you know, I'm over talking, which I'm really good at, you know, and just trying to process, like, what am I gonna say to her? Like, what, you know, what's she gonna be like? I just had all these questions flooding through my mind. And it's like, what am I gonna say to her? Like, what, you know, what's she gonna be like?
My sunshine, and I love my life, and I love all of y'all, and never forgive me. Amen.
So we had all these grand plans of how everything was going to kind of play out. We had a game plan, you know, our plan, but God had a different plan. In that moment, when she finished speaking or singing her song, God said, "Sing Amazing Grace."
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved
a wretch like me.
And I realized in that moment that this woman that I'm looking at, that I call my mom, saved my life. She carried a picture of a child, a baby that she thought was hers for 17 years. And I was able to take a photo album that I had that had a picture of me from the first day that she dropped me off, gave me up, and got to show her my life in pictures, like as many as I could find. You know, the other side of this story is, you know, you have this family that took in a 7-day-old child. I was very blessed to be brought up in a family that it was nothing but love. Mama Glenda, I want you to meet my special friend. Her name is Joyce Holland, and this is the lady who you gave when you put me up for adoption. She's raised me for 35 years.
Oh, can I have a hug, Glenda? Oh, I love you so much. You are so precious.
And this is what I know. One day, this hurt, this pain, this brokenness that we have will one day be made whole because of Jesus.